Peace and blessings, community. Thank you for joining us another day. We are doing a midnight talk, well, a little bit after midnight talk for Wealthy Wednesdays. And tonight we are going to be talking about building wealth with precious metals. We have come in contact with a brother from in Kiru, right? Am I
Yeah,
saying his name right?
yeah.
Always get it wrong. We came in contact with a brother in Kiru who is like really, really knowledgeable about the precious metals and how to use them in order to gain wealth and to build serious wealth with it. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. Oh, but wait, before we do that, I'm Hadidah from this Red Tent Yoni Love Rebels community. Grateful to be here and thankful for another day above ground. And this is my sister Kagemni from the Wholistic Healers Network, coming to you
Peace.
live every Wednesday and every Friday to bring you a wealth of knowledge. All right. So let's jump into this, Queen. So share with us like some of the things that you have or Nkiru has been teaching us with the precious metals.
Yeah, so he's been stating that, and we know that, right, from back in the day, that um, the precious metals are the true currency, right? Way back in ancient times, that's what our ancestors utilized, right? You utilize the coins, you like here, because that's true currency. It's universal. It's everybody recognizes it. Everybody accepts it. You wouldn't go nowhere and be like, oh yeah, can I have this? And I give you, some gold for it or some silver for it or some platinum or whatever the case may be. Nobody's gonna turn that down, right? It's
Right.
universal. So he was teaching that's the real currency. And it just resonated, with my spirit, because I'm just like, yeah, he's absolutely right. Plus, before Nixon declared that the dollar wasn't going to be backed by gold anymore, the dollar was backed by gold. And so that is
Mm-hmm.
really the true currency. So now that we're in this technology stage, people are becoming awake and into consciousness and things of that nature. We're reverting back to our original selves, if you will, getting back to our sovereign selves. And so he's trying to, teach us. He's not trying, he's teaching us how to convert back to that mindset where, listen, this paper money is not no real money. Even this digital currency is not no real currency. And none of this is real
Mm-hmm.
currency. Real currency is precious metals. And I was just like, yeah, I was so glad that this came back into my life, because on my journey, when I started, on my consciousness journey, my spiritual journey, that was another thing. They were saying, like, get your coin, buy silver and gold, buy silver and gold. And so I was on that mission of buying, the silver coins at that time. But then I stopped
Mm-hmm.
because I remember back in, I think it was 1932, 33, when they were saying that it wasn't going to be backed by gold anymore. But then everybody who had gold, the government was trying to get everybody's gold, because they knew that the dollar wasn't going to be backed by gold anymore. So they wanted to accumulate everybody. So I was just like, I got to stop, because I don't want that to happen to me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so here come a whole bunch of years later, the brother and Kiro back with
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember this from when they was talking back then, and oh yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so glad about this. And so yeah, he just shares how to get back on that vibration. He wants you to, buy silver, on a weekly basis. You could go if you want to subscribe. He has classes every Friday. You go on banksilver.org. It's $44 a month, and he gives you a plethora of information regarding precious metals. He shares like chants you could do, things that you should do on a weekly basis um, to buy, silver. He teaches how to go on certain different websites to look at the gold um, ratio in comparison to the silver, because the objective is to accumulate silver, 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 of course, to keep some, but then also when the gold drops at a closer ratio to the silver, then you trade in your silver for gold. Then he also teaches. He has five that he really hones in on, which is gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and rhodium.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so I'm just really excited. He was even, oh, you could talk about the tree. Oh my gosh,
Oh yes.
yeah, that was so exciting. It was deep. You want to share on that? The tree was powerful. So
The tree was powerful, but before we jump into that, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, it is in the chat. For those of you who are watching on our Facebook community, it will be down in the description box below for the link for you to be able to go and check out Nkiru's site and some of the other sites that we will be talking about tonight. You can find it down in the description box. Well, first of all, before we jump into the tree, I think it was really interesting when he was talking about the precious metals being God's currency. And
yeah,
that's something that really stuck with me because it was just like, getting out of the mindset that somebody else has to, I mean, ultimately, we're buying it from somebody else, but nobody is actually the one who is controlling it. It is literally a sovereign currency that was put here
yes,
by the Most High that has a huge value. We're actually going to go to some of those websites in a second, but has a lot of value to it. And so, just for a small ounce. So, being able to keep that mindset and that frequency that you're dealing with the most highest currency, not
yes,
any man-made currency, not anything that was created through some other entity other than divine source. Is like, wow.
right,
So utilizing it for exchange, for bartering, for even he was talking about eating with silver, real
yes,
silver, not just
your
aluminum,
clothes,
eating with silver, yes, putting it in your clothes, getting he had a fabulous headpiece. And I don't
oh
know
my
if you remember back
gosh,
in the
yeah,
day, I had this crown that I had
yes,
made out of copper, and I had a crystal that I had
crystals,
attached
yeah,
to the front. And I used to wear that all the time. But baby, when I say the energy that used to circle around my crown chakra was like, whoo, child, I don't need no more help getting
true,
off into the freaking ethers. But it was definitely you know, a divine experience. So I can only imagine because he has a fabulous silver crown that he's using. So
yes,
he talked a lot about utilizing these different precious metals in the cups that we're drinking out of, the plates we're eating off of, the spoons and forks that we're using, the cookware that we're using,
yes,
everything, incorporating it. Also talking about how silver is such a healing uh modality, a healing modality. Like you can literally
yes,
use silver to heal, especially like burn victim wounds and things like that. I know from my skin grafts, some when I had skin grafts way back in the day, some of the solutions had silver in them, the colloidal silver, which a lot of
yes,
people actually take on a consistent basis in the conscious community. They tonight, when we were looking on the website, I actually found colloidal gold. I didn't know they had it, colloidal
oh
platinum,
yeah,
like I
yes,
did not know they had all of that. And I was like, whoa. So, really figuring out ways to incorporate gold, silver, the precious metals into our health as well as our wealth, because true health is or true wealth is being in optimal health, because you can't
yes,
live to even enjoy your wealth if you if you broken up and tore up, you know what I mean? So I
that
think
part.
that's really profound. I know you had said for me to talk about the tree, but I done lost what I was getting ready to say about it. So,
That's okay. How it grow, how it's 5 years, how the roots,
oh
and
yeah.
go
So
ahead.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying he was showing the graph, the periodic table, how the roots he had each like root stem, if you will, um, an alignment with the different metals, and then
Mm-hmm.
after the 5 years, if you could explain it, how it grew, girl, it was just amazing. Also, how you could put some silver, in your water to give that, a healing and a high vibration. Sleep with it under your pillow, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, even how most people that are like yourself who wrap crystals and things of that nature usually would do it in copper. He was like, no, change that to silver. And I'm just like, wow, that's really deep. So yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
been very informative, very enlightening, and definitely like, okay, you're feeling at home. Your spirit feels at home with the information that he's saying, because as you stated, it is God's currency. But yeah, go ahead with
Yeah,
the
so I remember during his presentation, he was talking about the tree, the bamboo tree. And the
yeah,
bamboo tree is actually a tree that spends 5 years growing its network and its roots underground before it actually shoots up above surface. And then I think like within 5 or 6 months, something like that, the tree grows to can grow to up to 90 feet tall. And that's like a massive amount. So he was basically saying like connecting ourselves to the divine source and down, getting down into the earth, getting out, getting back into the earth, and using what the earth is already producing for us really gives us a foundation in order to be able to invest, paper money. Even the video that we were watching the other night when we were on Kafunia's live, and the brother from where was he from? Zambia? Zimbabwe? Was he from Zambia or Zimbabwe? Somewhere around there. I can't
yeah,
remember
he's
exactly. He was
talking, yeah,
Zimbabwe, I think.
Zimbabwe, yes.
Yeah, he was talking about, how the US government comes in, or these other, whoever the powers that be, come and take the resources of the gold and the diamonds and these different things, and then they want to hand us paper as, he was like, then they want to hand us paper as a payment. And your paper is not even backed by anything. Like, what? You taking our resources and you're giving us nothing. And that was really profound. And he was like, you want something, you want to figure out how to get what we have, come with gold, pay us back in gold, pay us
That's
back in
right.
silver, pay us back in diamonds, pay us back in precious metals, pay us back in, crystals, pay us in things that come from the mother earth. And I think that was something that's really a profound concept, because so often we spend a lot of our time and energy, chasing after this dollar bill. And a dollar
Absolutely.
bill is essentially literally just a piece of paper. Like you put it in a wash machine, like you better pray that it really holds up to be something. You know what I mean? Wherein if you have gold and silver, you actually have a tangible asset. And it's actually not even an asset, because he was talking about yesterday how it's not even considered an asset, because it does not lose it cannot lose its value
Yeah.
in the same way as a regular asset or liability would be. So it's not even considered an asset, but we're calling it, for lack of better terms, an asset, a way for you to be able to build something rather than lose something off of. And the concept of utilizing the gold and the silver as a form of being able to build up the wealth is something that I desire to do. I remember back when
Yeah.
I first met you, you were talking about you had gotten in connection with a group who was, trying to help people to buy bars of gold and things like that. And I can remember it being a real big thing about 10 years ago or so, 6 to 7, I don't know, maybe 7 to 10 years ago. People were really talking about buying the bars of gold and investing in it as a form of currency. And like you said, it's something that, people have to be careful, of course, still being connected to the government in some ways, and then dipping and dabbing in and out of it, because reality is, you know everything is being watched. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, if you want to start to really get into these different sovereign forms of currency, the best thing to do is to separate self from the larger whole, and to
Yeah.
truly be sovereign and be on that vibration. So we desire to just be able to help to do it ourselves, and then also to help our community to be able to enter into that state. There were a couple of websites that we were discussing earlier that I would like to share with the collective, and let's just move to
I
this.
had sent you, speaking of the brother from Zimbabwe, so I had sent you
Mhm.
that real quick reel from Instagram with him stating that. I thought it was very powerful, because he was just like, listen, you want this, you taking this, and that, yeah, give it back to me in gold. Give it back to me in precious metals.
Yeah, let me see if I can connect it to
Okay.
share.
Yeah. So yeah, very informative. Um, and then of course, you know what you seek. They say will come to you. The universe will bring it to you. When a student is ready, the teacher appears. And so now that we're vibing on the precious metals, then everything is like coming. You know, like Cafunia, she went into a drawer that she hasn't gone into in a long time in her house, and remember that she had some gold coins in there, and she's finding all this other stuff. So the universe is really like opening her up because doing she's
The
vibing on,
action.
yeah, the press, she's doing the action, and yeah, it's opening her up to other
And it's aligning her, yes,
yes,
with the
he
abundance.
that's what he told.
I think that's the thing though, it's so easy for us to consume the information. And because there's so many ways that we can be connected into consciousness, for real, the way
Yes.
that I see consciousness in this particular route is the same way that I view it for, a lot of the spiritual practices. They are all multiple paths, all leading to one divine place, and that's for us to be in sovereignty, to live our free selves and
Yeah.
not be, captive or, underneath anybody else's
Wow. Well,
whim for them to
yeah,
do whatever they want to do with
exactly.
us. I was able to pull up the Instagram, so let me share my screen.
Yeah, quick
I
reel.
believe, let me see, did it?
If not, then we could share some of the sites
Yeah,
to go
what?
on just to see.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm.
All right.
All right, so I'm actually going to see
Oh,
if I
so
can you see it.
BRICS. Yes, for people who don't know, BRICS, that's 5 different countries. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa collaborated together and was like, listen, America, we not trying to like deal with this dollar anymore. We're going to create our own digital currency and get together because yeah, we're just tired of the dollar being the international currency, and we're tired of you saying whether we could be on the SWIFT platform or not, because when Biden came into office, that's the first thing he did was get them off of the SWIFT. They was like, oh, okay, yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to collaborate and we're going to form our own different currencies. And so they formulated BRICS, and so that's what BRICS stands for: the different countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So yeah, I'm sorry. You can
No
finish
problem.
that.
I just wanted to make sure that we were close enough. Let me see. All right, so let's just. I'm doing it so that only the one screen will show.
Kill the American dollar. You come to me, you want to buy gold, and then you give me papers, and then you call that business. No. And right now, the economy is running on the false idea of Nixon, who removed the American dollar from being gold based to being paper based. So Americans don't need any backup for their economy. Or they're going to go to a photocopy machine and photocopy more papers. We are going to be reaching a time right now in Zimbabwe where all the gold that was stolen by the Europeans is going to come back to Africa. How? When we sell you our maize, we sell you our flowers, we sell you our coal. We don't want some damn pieces of paper money in our accounts. Pay in gold. Bring it back from your reserves in London, in Lisbon, in New York, in Frankfurt. You want iron ore and manganese. You want bars of gold. Bricks is a good thing. Kill.
And so you can see, as Kagemni was stating,
Mhm.
um, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Um, was Brazil the one that you said?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Is what is referred to as BRICS. But I thought this was really interesting. And anybody who might want this caption, just let me know, and I will make sure that I could actually try to link it down in the description box below for it to be able to be seen. So now we're going to hop over to a couple of platforms that we can in order to be able to look at the price of gold, and silver, as we are investing. And give me
Yeah,
a
you
second.
got really hones in on the silver, getting a lot of silver because it's just what $25 for an ounce, and just accumulate that, and then, as I stated before, when gold comes down at a closer ratio to silver, then get some gold, and for the others as well, the
Mhm.
platinum, the palladium, and rhodium as well. So
And really, what he was saying last night was the only reason to, I don't want to say the only reason, but one of the main reasons why you accumulate silver is so that you can turn it into gold.
right,
And also the concept what we were discussing earlier, where think of every outing that you take with your friends and family that's unnecessary, or every extra expense that you don't really have to do, as a way that you could have been investing but you did it. Instead you were spending it on something else that you saw as I guess important at the moment, but it's not
right,
something that's going to last you. And the thing about investments and building generational wealth, we had a I had a subscriber come and say like, "Oh yeah, it's real funny that y'all, are talking about building generational wealth when the only thing that's going to be around, in a couple of years is pretty much going to be nothing, and or even months, for real, with the way the economy is going."
right,
And my response to that is, generational wealth, just because that is the state of the common people, does not mean that that has to be the state of you individually. You
right,
have the power to build generational wealth if you really want it. You have the power to change your family's financial situation. You don't have to be subjected to whatever these people want to do to you. You could change your own reality. And on this platform, we all about creating our own forms and ways of being able to do that, to be able to build generational wealth, and enlightening our community on ways that we can do that, that they might not know about. So one of the ways that we can do it is by tracking, for those of you who are into cryptocurrency, then about tracking, the Bitcoin value and Ethereum and XRP and these different quantum, these different forms of crypto. The same thing goes for gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and every other thing that you could think of that you can invest in. And like,
right,
the precious gemstones and crystals and things like that, all of that are considered to be investments. I don't know if y'all have ever been to a real um gemstone or crystal shop where the people actually come from foreign countries like Brazil, Africa. The miners come from foreign countries and come there. They literally come and they get paid like massive amounts of money for these different crystals when they come to exchange them. And that's how we are now getting a tumbled form of a rose quartz or a magnesium in a Madagascar, hematite or whatever you might be using. These are different forms of currency as well. And because they are all coming from Mother Earth. So let's
right.
just hop into this website and let me stop running my face. So what I think is really interesting here is that you can literally see the price of every type of I'll say main
Yeah,
precious metal. So gold is $2,044.60 per ounce. Okay, y'all, this is not per pound. This is per ounce. Silver is $25.70 for silver. Platinum is $1,059 per ounce, and then palladium is $1,368 per ounce. Now, the very interesting part to me is that even in the midst of everything else, Nasdaq crashing, this going down, that going down, things tanking, the precious metals are constantly going up. The
up,
likelihood that a precious metal is going to go down and decrease in value is very, very slim to none. They actually increase, sometimes double, triple. I mean, look at this percentage that it's up: 22 here, for palladium, it goes up drastically when the rest of the market is crashing. And so when you start looking into what to really invest your cash in, you want to find things that are tried and true. The brother talks a lot, and Kiru talks a lot about switching your cryptocurrency into a form of being able to pay for your
Yeah.
gold, your silver, your platinum, and your palladium, not leaving it in cryptocurrency, but using that as a vehicle to be able to also invest. Everything leads back to gold, silver, platinum, and palladium as
Yeah.
forms of investment. And so this website is kitco, kitco.com. And then you can find all of the different precious metals here, and they have all different kind of blogs as well. Let me go to their main screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can see here that it has a chart showing how much uh, gold is increasing. It is up by 4.80%. And you can see how it is continuing to increase in the US and Canada and Europe. I'm not sure what GBP is. Do you know what GBP is?
The gross domestic product, GDP. Gross.
GBP.
Where we at?
Right here on the side. Are
Oh,
you able to see
Europe,
my screen?
Great Britain,
Oh,
pound,
okay.
the Great British
Okay.
Pound. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see that there are a bunch of different blog kind of posts dealing with the latest news, dealing with metals, crypto, mining, and market news. And then, of course, street talk. But all of it is surrounding the gold, silver, platinum, and palladium um, precious metals. Is there anything that you wanted to say in addition to this?
No, this is just a good, great website, as you stated, to keep track of the different precious metals. Again, the concept is to being at silver is, you see, it's the least expensive out of the five major ones that were mentioned.
Mm-hmm,
You know, just really, really stock up on that. Only $25 an ounce, and then
mm-hmm.
as I stated, when gold gets that ratio closer to silver, then buy you some gold. Because silver, that's so interesting that he said silver is the second um, highest commodity that or precious metal that people buy, and it's the lowest of them all as far as price.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, I love gold, but I've always been attracted to silver too.
So have I. That's
Yeah,
funny. So have I. I mean, who
yeah,
doesn't like gold? But I've always been attracted to silver.
yeah. And probably because I don't know, when I think of silver, I think of that being more of the feminine aspect, and I think of gold being more of the masculine aspect.
Mm.
Um, Maybe that's why, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I've always been more
And I
attracted to.
don't know why, but I feel like it's funny because gold is always so mined. They do a lot of mining of it in Africa, but I
Yeah,
always associated that as being something coming out of like Egyptian area, like because I just always saw like the silvers and the turquoises going together. I don't know why, but in my
yeah,
mind it was always like, oh yeah, those stones come from out of that region. And I've always been very attracted to the silver and the turquoise stone gemstones, and those different colors.
Egypt is still Africa, but
Yeah,
since
I
they just
know.
separated so much, sometimes we forget that that's still a part of Africa. But it's
Oh no,
funny.
I know, but my point is that in Africa, a lot of times they reference Africa as a place for gold. They very rarely say anything about silver coming from Africa. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying for me, I always associated that silver was attached in some kind of way to Egypt in my mindset. That's just always what I felt like. I don't know.
yeah,
Even though you see them wearing gold, everything, you know what I
everything.
mean? Their crowns are gold. Everything was gold.
And
Um,
they
a lot of
buried with
their
all of that.
Huh?
I said, yeah, they were getting buried with it, and the
Right.
turquoise,
So
all
that's
these
what I'm
high
saying. I don't know
vibration.
where I got it from, but that's just what I always felt like. Oh yeah, that goes back there. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's also one more website that we want to share with you guys, and And like I said, I will put all of these websites down in the description box below for you to be able to go and reference it on your own.
If they wanna share brother and Kiru's website,
Yeah, I will
they,
right
they wanna
after this
okay.
silverprice.org.
Yeah, silverprice.org.
So after that one, I will show Brother Nkiru's site as well. So this is silverprice.org,
Mm-hmm.
and price of silver. Uh-oh, is it glitching with Mercury in retrograde?
Yeah, that part, man. It's been I've been having some real interesting things happen. Like, what is going on? Okay.
Yeah, with Mercury in retrograde. All right,
Right.
so it is showing now. So gold performance today, 30 days, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 20 years from now. Look at how much, oops, the amount has increased over time.
Right.
For gold and for silver. Right now, gold price per ounce is $2,043.84. Gold price per gram 65.71. Gold price per kilo. My God, look
Right.
at this.
That part.
Look at this. So, could you imagine if everybody who turned in their gold didn't turn in their gold way back? I mean, our ancestors would be at a much different place.
Exactly.
Would have been at a much different place. Than we are currently as a people. What just happened?
Yeah, and that's what this digital currency is going to be backed by gold. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we want to come on and make this a part of our portfolio, and I
absolutely,
big time
absolutely,
diversify.
absolutely.
So, yeah, precious metals, cryptocurrency, leveraging life insurance. Me, I want to do some real estate, which, yeah, well, maybe we'll talk about that on Friday. Uh,
Yes,
yeah. And then, of course, the online shopping club, different platforms, yes, to create this generational wealth. And first and foremost, too, the trust. So we have to have a brother on here talking about that because what good is
yes.
all this money, too? You want to do generational wealth, but then when you
Don't have anywhere
transition,
to
it's not no
protect it.
protection that goes back to them. It's just like, are
Yeah.
you
So before we jump into that last question that I was asking you before we got on here, um, because I we were talking about, so where will you stock all of this once you get it? Let's just really quickly show the Brother in Kiru's site.
yeah,
Um, and so this is the site right here. If you are interested, he has a class, as Kagemni stated earlier. He has a class that you can do for $44 a month, where he talks about silver and the precious metals and gold and investing and how it's connected back to Mother Earth and divine, science and things like that. He covers all of it every single
right,
Friday. So you can just simply go to more on the online version, on like desktop version. Go to more, go down to subscription, click it, and it'll bring you to this page. And if you push shop now, it will allow you to purchase it. So there's a weekly meeting, newsletters, and video updates with precious metal consultation. Stephen Nkiru Richardson shares his 30 plus years experience building your physical precious metals bank, buying, trading, and ratio trading, programming on silver, gold, platinum, palladium, and rhodium, online trading, precious metals, mining, and royalty stock, learning charts, cycles, stock picks, and how to compound your win 5 times, build income streams with your physical precious metal bank. Silver is the number 2 commodity on earth. Learn the many applications of silver in your industry and how you can benefit from this green movement. You can also stay in a loop by joining his
right,
subscription mailing list. And so you enter your email, and of course, you can sign up. So this is a course that Kagemni has joined. I have not joined it as of yet, but I will be. It's just I've been so busy with building
I
the
don't.
company, but I am getting into my silver and gold investing, and that's the most important part is for us to establish some investments. So before we get off really quickly, we were talking about 344 was just on the clock. Um, before we get off really quickly, we were just talking about having a space where we hold it. So, back in the day, the banks, right, used to be like the go-to place where everybody ran and they kept like, their stuff in a safe deposit box.
Box,
And we
yeah.
were talking about, how to keep it. And, a form of that whole concept of sovereignty and that concept of like not allowing your things that you are supposed to be possessing to be controlled over by someone else means
Right.
also that we have to establish inside of our homes, inside of our spaces, inside of our businesses, a secure place for us to be able to secure these riches. Because one thing I think that is so easy, we've gotten used to somebody else providing this protection for us. Even with cryptocurrency, the concept of keeping your own bank routing numbers and things like that, or bank routing numbers. I know it's not bank routing numbers, but that's the best way we can
Addresses.
consider it. Keeping your codes and things like that organized so that you know how to keep up with your own stuff. All of that concept is so foreign to us as a people because we're so used to somebody else guarding, protecting, keeping it, whatever, for us instead of us doing it ourselves. So in
Right.
this new space of sovereignty, when the whole universe is going to where like consciousness shifts and things like that, I feel like we also have to be leveling up our own personal protection that we're providing for ourselves. And I'm not talking about just the right to bear arms. I'm talking about, do we have a safe inside of our home? Do we have fireproof whatever, what I mean, study or whatever that holds all of our precious metals and our investments and this and that?
Right.
Do we have something built underground that is disaster proof? How are we protecting ourselves? Because the government has created different ways that they protect people's items, and I'm using quotation marks, right, exactly,
Yes.
because we
Right.
already know that that's a crock of crap. But they created these
That
different
part.
ways that they have protected society. And so now moving into this new reality of being your own bank, of investing and holding your own riches and not having your gold be possessed somewhere else. And oh yeah, you think you got it in an account somewhere and they done traded that same piece of gold off 15 different times. You're actually possessing it yourself. Imagine getting a piece of gold in your house that was an ounce, and that ounce was worth 2,000 some odd dollars, and you accumulated enough of them that you got a kilo, and it was over $65,000 worth of riches, essentially. What are you doing with it? How are you protecting it? Where are you keeping it? So I
Right.
think these are things that we really need to talk about, how to fully protect ourselves. As you stated, a trust is one way, putting
Mhm.
everything that you own inside of a trust where you own nothing personally, but the physical protection as well, offside of the paper protection of
Yeah.
it being written down and tying up your paperwork, because that's something else that we don't do enough as people of color.
Yes.
um Tying up our paperwork is really important. So figuring out a way that we will be able to do that and we will be able to protect ourselves fully, and to be able to make sure that we aren't being taken advantage of. Do you have any suggestions or ways? I know back in the day our grandparents used to put our stuff up underneath the bed, girl. They used to tuck it up underneath
Out
the
under
mattress
the mattress.
and keep it chucking. So it's just like, how can we do that? How can we do that now, and protect ourselves, other than having an in-home safe or some kind of lockbox?
Right. And then shoot, how, protected is that, too, as well. I don't know. That's a question I'm gonna ask, you
Yes.
on Friday, this upcoming class, because they do say to buy these different things of that nature. And like you stated, this is physical, so this is totally different from just putting it in the trust and saving it and that way, the paper route. But yeah, okay, God forbid. Of course, yeah, you have the safe and it's fireproof and waterproof and things of that nature. That's good, but you know, What if you have to just be out? Well, you know what I mean? Like, just, yeah. What are some other ways we could do it in different
Disaster proof
places?
ourselves.
Right. To have backup plans and things of that nature to protect it. Cause yeah, no, but if you do get the bars, you know, like where you supposed to like walk around with big bars of gold, like that doesn't sound
And I think that's also why a lot of people who invest in physical silver and gold buy it in pellet form, because
yes.
now it's divisible. So imagine it being like pennies on, or quarters or dimes on a dollar,
Right.
opposed to carrying around, with cash. You're not going to carry around $5,000 in cash. You're going to put it on a credit card, or you're going to, break it down into smaller bills. So I
Right.
imagine that carrying around the pellets of gold that equals up an ounce, and that being $25, it's like having pennies, on the dollar. You know what I
Right.
mean? Opposed to keeping it all in your possession at one time. So I think that's probably one of the way to do it. And then also don't put all your bags, all your eggs in one basket. Meaning, don't hide all of your gold and your silver in one spot.
Right.
Have it spread out at different locations, maybe a house, maybe, a safe box, wherever. Have it not all in one place, so that God forbid something was to happen, not all of your stash is taken out at one time. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, we just got to learn from past experiences of our ancestors being blown up, somebody dropping a bomb on a whole city block and blowing some stuff up, or blowing up, the Black Wall Street and things like that. Not keeping all of our assets in one spot, so that way we are not able to be easily targeted and to be wiped out.
Right.
And our wealth is not either. You know what I mean? We're actually able to leave it for somebody. So I think that that's really the direction we probably need to go into, is figuring out how to properly disperse it in different locations, but figuring out a way to do that. So that would be a really interesting topic for us to bring up next Wednesday.
Yes.
Properly protecting your assets, your physical assets, in addition to building a trust, of course,
Right.
properly protecting the physical assets, so that we can make sure that we're never able to be taken advantage of, and left unprotected. Is
Yes.
there anything else that you want to add, sis, before we hop off?
No, just grateful. This is again very informative. It really stirred up some different things, on my journey with the precious metals and things of that nature. And just really looking forward to getting back into, having this a part of my repertoire and helping others, when we do these lives, and whoever might be joining us now or at a later time. We hope that, we're helping you in some shape, form, or fashion, because this is something that we're truly passionate about and just really want to help people to be to live and be their true selves. And, really important for us in the African American community to leave generational wealth and legacy, because we don't do that. Our
Mm-hmm.
culture, we just constantly keep starting over and starting over and starting over. And we have to change that, because every other culture that's doing the generational wealth and legacy got it from us.
Mm-hmm.
We lost it and we got to bring that back. We have to bring that back. So, again, I'm just grateful for, being here and talking about this and, really just helping others, because that's what it's about. So I thank you. And I thank, the universe for making this happen.
Oh, absolutely. And the same
Yeah.
thing here. You tied up everything that I could possibly think to say to the community. But yes, definitely this is our passion.
Yes.
Helping, our community to live lives of sovereignty, and for it to be real. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Real in so many different ways. Sovereign in your health, sovereign in your finances, sovereign in your relationships, sovereign in your investments, sovereign in your, like, across the board. You know what I
Right.
mean? To just live, you know, at optimal, and it's optimal. So I'm extremely grateful, community. We're going to hop off. We will see you on
Yeah.
Friday for Financial Freedom Fridays.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be discussing real estate and real estate investments, so that should be fun.
Yes.
If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comment box. We would love to be able to answer them. If you are looking for a way to be able to get in contact with Kagemni or I, both of our information is down in the description box below. You can reach out to us at any time and we will be happy to get back to you. Also, if you are interested in knowing more about the Holistic Shopping Club that we are a part of, the wellness company, please let us know. It would be awesome for you to join our team. It is a way for you to literally marry your health with your wealth and build generational wealth across the board. It's something that both of us are really excited about, and it's the first time I feel like I've come in contact with another entity that shared the same kind of vision that I did, where we were able to marry both underneath one umbrella. So it's really exciting to be able to share it with our community and just help people to understand how they can live more holistic, natural lives and and grow wealth at the same time. So with that being said, we're hopping off. Thank you very much, community, for tuning in, and we cannot wait to see you the next time, which is going to be on Friday. Peace.
Peace.